I was struggling with motivation. I was wasting time. I felt like my life didn't have any purpose. It was incredibly painful just getting out of bed, going to class, training, or doing any work. If you watch this video, that all is going to change. You will love doing hard things. This simple mindset I'm sharing you today has led me to learn Chinese in under a month and surprise my mother. It has led me to lose over 10 kilograms and achieve my dream physique. I've built a marketing agency doing over $6,000 a month within a single year. Now I can say I'm the master of my own mind. I can go without eating anything for over 4 days. I can approach hundreds of women on the street. I can do over 500 push-ups every single day, and I can be happy working over 10 hours every single day. So the one simple solution for you is to find your deep purpose, a reason for why you're doing what you're doing. This all will sound very vague right now, but in this video I'm going to share you how to find your own purpose. And actually also more important than that, I will give you actionable steps on how to turn your reason into an endless source of motivation. First, you need to understand why having a reason is the most important thing in life. For that, I introduce you to Viktor Frankl. Viktor was Jewish, and in 1942 he, his wife, his brother and his parents were deported to Nazi concentration camps, including Theresienstadt, Auschwitz and Dachau. He lost everyone: his brother, his parents and his wife. They were all murdered by the Nazis in the camps. But he survived Auschwitz, enduring forced labor, starvation, disease and brutal treatment. Surviving 3 camps in over 3 years was extremely rare. And now, while being imprisoned, he observed how attitude, inner belief and meaning affected the chances of psychological survival. He noted that people who had something to live for, a loved one, a personal mission, faith, they were more likely to push through hardship and ultimately survive. His theory is that the primary human drive is not pleasure, like Sigmund Freud said, or power, like Alfred Adler, but actually having meaning. So the one thing that actually drives human beings to do things is having a sense of purpose. There actually was a study, it's called the Meta-Analysis of Purpose and Stress from 2024, and it studied over 108,000 participants, and its findings are that people with a stronger sense or purpose reported significantly lower perceived stress, and participants were better able to persist on a strain, adapt and recover psychologically. There is another study called the Midas study from Purpose, Resilience and Function Under Adversity that studied 7,000 US adults and followed them over 1 decade. And it found that those with high purpose felt fewer depressive symptoms even after experiencing major life adversities, and that purpose enhanced persistence, future orientation and active coping strategies. One final study I'm going to share you is called the Youth Resilience and Purpose Study from 2023, and it studied 3,500 teens. And it found that purpose in life reduced depressive symptoms and youth facing trauma, and teens with a clear purpose scored higher in academic motivation, persistence, and emotional recovery. So medical research and studies clearly prove that having a clear sense of purpose reduces the impact of stress, hardship, and thereby increasing emotional stamina, resilience, and drive. And drive is the thing we're looking for in order to do hard work. Friedrich Nietzsche, a German philosopher, already said 150 years ago, "The man who has a why can bear almost any how." This is one of my favorite quotes. It means having a strong sense of a reason, having a why, can enable someone to endure even the most difficult circumstances and challenges. If you find that reason, your why for doing hard work, you will be able to do the work no matter how hard it gets. This all sounds cool and all, and now I'm actually going to give you the actionable steps in order to find your purpose and put it into endless motivation. For that, I want you to open up Miro boards. It's like an online whiteboard. It's imperative that you write this down. So either get a piece of paper and pen. I highly recommend Miro board. You can use it completely for free. I'm using the free version myself. You can just open it up and just use Miro board from anywhere, so it's quite convenient. First thing you want to write down is your mission. This is the main part we will work everything around. You don't want to overthink your mission. This is not a life mission. This can change after a week, this can change after a month, after a year, but this is the thing that actually drives you today. And I want you to think about what you really want. For most guys, it's probably going to be simple. It's some amount of money. So for example, I could say my mission is to make at least $3,000 per month. And I want you to think big. If anything is achievable, what would you do? This is your idea, your goal. If everything is going going to work out, if you could do anything you want, if you could have anything you want, what would you get? So let's add a 0 in there. I want this to be a dream big motivation. So right now, for my personal motivation, for me, myself, isn't financial. I will share, by the way, everything out of my perspective as well. Where is it? My mission is to become a full-time YouTube creator. For me, that does mean also making over $3,000 a month. But for me specifically, my mission is being a YouTube creator. For some people out there, they already have the financial freedom. They don't need to make any specific amount of money because their financial status currently already gives them the freedom they want. If you're that type of person, I want you to think about what you really want to do in your life. That could be fighting climate change, rescuing abandoned dogs, or building a secure life for your family. And if you need more help finding your reason, I want you to sit down on the ground, look up to the sky, and ask yourself, what makes you feel alive? What are you most curious about? What makes you feel important? Now we will actually start turning your mission into an endless source of motivation. And for that, we have 3 steps: drive vacuums, then we have targeting, and the third one is visualization. And it is imperative that you complete every 3 of these steps in incredible detail, otherwise this all might not help and work for you. So the first step, drive vacuums, is you need to understand why you have written down your goal as your goal. So it is important that you understand your mission and why you're actually on the mission. This will help you in the hard times, on the days that are bad, when the world is facing against you. You can look back and you can know why you're actually trying to work this way. The first step to actually being a master of your own mind is actually understanding it. So this is imperative. So the simple step to understand your mission is to ask why. We ask why several times, not once or twice, but at least 6 times. I'm going to give you a simple example for when I was studying Chinese. So my big mission was to learn Chinese. Why did I want to learn Chinese? Because I actually wanted to surprise my mother. But why did I want to surprise my mother? Because I wanted to make her proud. And why did I want to make her proud? Because I wanted to feel a sense of fulfillment. Why did I need that sense of fulfillment right now? Because my mother hasn't been proud of me lately. And why hasn't she been proud of me lately? Because I had missed my mother. Why? Because I was studying far away in the United States. So this wasn't like my mother's fault or anything. I was just far away and I was missing my mother. And then I understood that actually why I wanted to learn Chinese was because I missed my mother. And I turned missing my mother into an endless source of motivation for learning Chinese. And I mean really endless. This will get a bit personal now, but I will share with you my reasons to become a full-time YouTube creator. So I have 3 main reasons. I want to inspire and entertain people. I want to have fun. I want social attention and respect. And I want to create future resources. These are my 4 reasons why I want to become a full-time YouTube creator. And I'm going to go in detail in reason number 3, because you need to ask yourself painful questions and actually go deep in your mind and in your heart why you actually want this thing. So I want to be a full-time YouTube creator. One of the reasons is because I want social attention and respect. Then I asked myself, why do I want social attention and respect? I understood I crave that attention and I want to feel recognized by others. But why do I want to feel recognized by others? Because it makes me feel good. It gets me a high standing in social hierarchy. But why do I want a high standing in social hierarchy? Like, why? Because I want to be the king of the hill. And why do I want that? I actually hate when somebody gets more validation than me. I understood that deep down inside, I have some side of jealousy too. And this doesn't all have to be necessarily bad and be in a bad lighting, but it is important that you understand yourself and that you're brutally honest with yourself. And I'm literally telling you right now, I have some side of jealousy, which of course isn't very nice, but I have that. And I asked myself, why do I have that side of jealousy? And I understood as a child, when I was growing up, I had to strive to get attention. But why did I have to strive to get attention? Because I had an older brother. I'm a middle child. I have an older brother and a younger sister. And my older brother, of course, was stronger and cleverer than me. And my younger sister, of course, was cuter and more pretty. I always automatically got fewer attention. This doesn't necessarily have anything to do with my parents. If my parents are watching this, by the way, you did a very, very well job. I love you guys. For example, if we go to a neighbor's place and an uncle comes and he just sees my brother and he says, wow, you've grown so tall, wow, you're so strong. And then they see my sister, wow, you're so pretty and you're so cute. Automatically and naturally, they will get more validation at that point than I did. So deep down, when I was growing up, I always saw how other people, in this case, my siblings, got this respect and I wanted it myself. That's why I'm trying to be stronger, be clever. I'm not sure if I can be cuter and prettier, but yeah, the strong and clever part. So I always had to find my way of gaining that, and that's why I want that social attention and respect. And now I understand myself, and I can feel more at peace at my heart, and I understand why I am on one of these reasons, why deep down I feel such a drive and such a magnetic attitude towards becoming a YouTube creator. And once you understand your mind, again, this is like the first step to actually controlling your mind. So you can pause this video, you can write this down yourself just like I did. I want you to write down as many whys as you can and be very, very brutally honest with yourself. And if it becomes uncomfortable, you know you're doing things right and you're on the right path. Pause the video right now, complete the step in detail, and then we'll go to step number 2. Step number 2 is targeting. You need to set a target. You need to write down exactly what you need to do to achieve your mission. This can be bullet points. As you see, I made it extremely simple. I didn't write much. Also, another thing that helps is writing down a time frame. For example, if you want to make $10,000 a month, write down I want to do $10,000 within, let's say, for example, the next 12 months. For me personally, for my video creating, for my full-time being a YouTube creator, this is not something I desperately need within the next year, but I definitely want to achieve that as soon as possible and become financially free from that. But for me personally, I don't have any timely goal to achieve this exactly right now. I want to build a stable audience, but I just want to do it as a life mission. But it does help if you have a time goal to write down a time goal to understand what exactly you have to do. And then it's quite simple. Write down in bullet points what you need to do to achieve your mission. For me, I need to create irresistible videos that are highly interesting and provide value. I want to produce the best videos on finance and mental freedom. And what I need to do is actually quite simple. I need to work and be smart about it. I need to have golden ideas. I need to be original, creative, and I need to be able to find inspiration, and definitely also be very specific on what exactly you have to do. So I want to work at least 5 hours every single day, also on weekends on my videos, and I want to work consistently. So my problem, I've done YouTube in the past already. I've done YouTube over 6 years. I haven't been consistent enough, and I want to work consistently over the next months and years, over 5 hours every single day. The next thing that helps is actually to write down a process for what you actually have to do. So I have a process written out. This is extremely simplified. So going from idea to uploading a video, this is all basically what I have to do. If I ever feel lost in my mission and I don't know what to do in order to become a full-time YouTube creator, I can basically go back to this and go, yeah, where am I in the production process? What do I need to figure out? I need to figure out a YouTube idea in order to start this, or if I already prepared it, I can film it, edit it, upload it. The more detailed you do it, the better. For me, this is going to be quite simple, but it's important to be specific on how much you actually want to work per day and how consistent you want to be and what exactly you have to do in order to achieve your mission. Third point and the final point is visualization. This is probably the most important part in order to actually fuel this all, the whole idea, the whole mission into your motivation. First of all, create a picture board with how you visualize yourself. Put yourself in the middle and put people around you who you look up to. These don't have to be perfect people. This can also be like internet people. This can also be like Thomas Shelby, not even a real person, like film characters, but these are people I look up to, and if I envision my life in the future, I am basically practically the embodiment of these guys. So you're actually visualizing in what kind of person you're becoming. So for example, Rife, I want to be fast thinking, I want to be happy, I want to be able to make jokes, just as Thomas Müller. I want to also win like Max Verstappen. And of course, every human also has their negative sides. These aren't like my idols. I'm not idolizing anybody, but these are basically people I look up to, I respect them, and I have something of their character that I want to add to my life. So if I ever don't know what to do in my life, I can look at these guys, I can put myself into their shoes, I can ask myself, yeah, what would Charlie Munger do right now? What would Ben Francis do in my situation? And for me, these are basically the main people that influence my mindset, my mind, and I look up to them. The next thing I wanted to do is to write down your milestones. Be very specific where you want to be in the next few years. For me, I wrote within the next 3 years, that's when I'm 25, within the next 13, at 35, at 45. You can write this all down for the next 5, 10, and 20 years. This should be a long-term vision for the future. And then I want you to write down what you do for work, what you have for income, where you are on the location, how you are with friends and family, what are you doing for hobbies, where are you living and housing, what car do you drive. The more specific you get, the better. So you can also add stuff. This is what I've personally added myself. I haven't copied this from anybody online, by the way. This is what I've basically made up myself. I want you to visualize your future and where you see yourself. So if you have some ideas you can add, definitely add them. This is not like a one-size-fits-all pictures. This is just what I personally did. Once you have your goal and your aim where you are in the next few years, it's easier to achieve that target. You can imagine visualization and goal setting like you're swimming right now alone in the middle of the ocean, and you're not looking up and you're not looking where you're going. And visualizing and setting a goal is actually looking up from the water and looking up where the next island is. Looking where can I swim and what my direction needs to be. Once you have visualized and actually looked where you need to go, it's far easier to just swim over to the island and just land there. If you don't set any goals and if you don't visualize, you're basically swimming in the ocean without a plan and you don't have any island. And yes, you can get lucky. Yes, you can basically just get stranded on a nice island. But if you don't visualize and if you don't swim there, the chance of actually reaching a good goal you're actually going to be satisfied with in life is far, far slimmer than actually if you look up, visualize, and actually swim that way. Be extremely specific and actually think about your life, what you actually want, how many kids you want to have, when you want to get married, what time you want to get married, how you are with friends, what kind of relationships you are in. For me personally, I just wrote bullet points in this, but I can tell you behind all of these bullet points, behind every single one of these are deep thoughts of mine and deep ideas and deep visualization as well. Now the most important point, I want you to write down your nightmare. This is actually the thing that gets me up in the morning. So this is basically the opposite of the island. I want you to visualize what you don't want to do. So if we're swimming in the ocean right now, this visualization is basically almost a shark that's trying to eat you up and trying to chase you. And once you visualize that shark, it's far easier to swim faster. That's how you can imagine this. And I wrote this down in bullet points again. I created images using AI. So if you're visualizing this, it definitely helps looking up pictures online and just adding it to the Miro boards. So for me, my nightmare is not being able to provide for anyone, having an unpleasant wife, no kids, depending on other people, and having no self-ambition, working for somebody else, 9-to-5 job, minimum wage. That's all my nightmare. And when I imagine this or when I have a bad day, I'm like, I don't want to go to work today. I envision this shark, this nightmare of the kind of person I could become if I don't take action today. If you look at this in the morning, if you look at this at night, if you look at this every time you feel down and low and every time the world is facing against you and every time you don't know why you're working, take a look at your Miro board, understand why you're doing things, what your mission is, what you need to do to achieve this, and what happens if you don't. And you will get an endless source of motivation. If you think this might have helped you, subscribe to the channel. I want to make more mindset videos as well as making money for teenagers and students. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.